Oftentimes, when I talk to people about feminism and tell them that I myself am not a feminist, nor do I really support the movement, people tend to remind me of all the great things that feminism has done in the past, and that I, as a woman, should support the movement, otherwise I'm anti-woman or something like that. Which by itself is a really stupid argument. That's just like saying that all black people should vote Republican just because the Republican Party back then ended slavery. I'm sure a lot of black people wouldn't like that. People might argue that this isn't a good argument because the Republican Party has changed over time, but the same counts for feminism as well. As many people already know, feminism has three phases. The first wave of feminism, which the suffragettes were a part of, who of course fought for a woman's right to vote. Then the second wave of feminism, which fought for things like equality in the workplace. And then the third wave of feminism, the one that we're in right now. I don't have a problem with the first and second wave of feminism. In fact, I'm glad that I can vote and support myself financially. But I do have a problem with the third wave of feminism, because it's unnecessary, it's manipulative, and quite frankly, it's harmful. It's unnecessary because women in the West are not oppressed. They have every legal right that men have, and if you think that's not true, then please, just list me one legal right that men have and women don't. I'll wait. Now, some people will argue that we still need feminism in the West because women have to deal with more stuff, that society treats women differently than men, and that women have to meet higher expectations such as looking pretty, or that they have to deal with things like slut-shaming and catcalling. But the thing is that there are expectations for both women and men. It's just different types of expectations. Men, for example, have to be able to take care of a whole family. That's not that easy. As for issues like catcalling and slut-shaming, they just seem pretty trivial to me. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think you need a whole movement for problems that are easily solved by you ignoring them. I mean, seriously, if somebody's catcalling you, just keep walking, ignore them. It's not gonna affect you any more than that. Or if somebody's calling you a slut or a whore or whatever, just ignore them. They're just a jerk saying mean stuff. There are a lot of mean people in the world. You're gonna have a lot of insults thrown your way. It doesn't matter. You don't need a whole movement to protect you from mean people. Just be the strong, independent woman that you say you are and deal with it like a normal adult. I feel like deep down feminists know that they have nothing to fight for anymore, and that's why they try to find sexism in everything. Even in simple things like emojis and traffic lights. Yeah, even emojis and traffic lights are sexist now. At this point, a lot of feminists will argue that we still need feminism for the women who live in oppressive countries where they're forced to cover up their whole bodies or aren't allowed to go to school. Unfortunately, most feminists today don't really seem to care about these women and will only bring them up in order to defend the existence of their movement. I've seen more feminists talk about manspreading than about things like genital mutilation. And for those who don't know, manspreading is when a man has his legs open and takes up too much space. Yeah, feminism used to be about liberating women, now it dictates how men should sit. I follow a few Arab women on Twitter who live in countries where they are forced to cover up, and they resent modern feminism for whining about insignificant issues while they themselves have to suffer. And recently, a lot of feminists will actually promote oppression of women in order to not seem Islamophobic. A couple of days ago, Alicia Keys posted a picture of a woman wearing a niqab, I think it's called, where she's practically almost fully covered up. And she was promoting that. She was kind of celebrating that. And a lot of Arab women weren't that happy about that. Then I said that feminism is manipulative, and I say that because it will often lie to women to make them feel victimized and weak. There are tons of misleading or straight up fake statistics, like the 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 rape statistic, that feminists just keep bringing up in order to declare that we live in a rape culture and to make women scared. And of course, there's the wage gap statistics, which